OpenAI just built its own chip. And not just any chip, a custom silicon weapon aimed directly at Nvidia's stranglehold on the AI hardware market. It's called the Jalapeño, and it was quietly unveiled this week in partnership with Broadcom and Celestica. Let that sink in for a second. The company that has been Nvidia's single biggest customer, burning billions of dollars on H100s and B200s to train and run its models, has now decided to manufacture its own inference silicon. This is not a research prototype. This is a production chip, designed specifically for large-scale inference workloads, meaning every time you or I hit send on a ChatGPT prompt, OpenAI wants that response generated on their own hardware, not Nvidia's. The financial implications here are staggering. Inference is where the real ongoing cost lies. Training a model is a one-time event. Inference happens billions of times per day, every day, forever. If OpenAI can shift even a fraction of that workload onto Jalapeño, chips they control and manufacture at cost, the margin transformation is enormous. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Broadcom is the partner on design. Celestica handles manufacturing logistics. This is the exact same playbook Google used when it built its TPU chips, and Amazon used when it built Trainium and Inferentia. Every major hyperscaler eventually decides Nvidia's margins are too fat and goes vertical on silicon. OpenAI just crossed that threshold. The market noticed immediately. Nvidia's stock twitched. Analysts started running numbers on what reduced OpenAI purchasing volume could mean for Nvidia's data center revenue outlook in 2027 and beyond. One chip announcement, and the entire hardware supply chain is recalibrating. This story is nowhere near over. It is just getting started. Most people were distracted by the chip news, so almost nobody caught what happened with GPT-5.6. OpenAI released it, quietly, without a launch event, without a keynote, without a single tweet from Sam Altman. It just appeared this week, and then almost immediately, access was restricted. Here's what we know. GPT-5.6 is real. It has been confirmed in reporting from multiple sources. The model exists, it is live, and at least some users have interacted with it. But there is a federal angle to this story that is genuinely strange. The rollout appears to have been paused or throttled at the request of federal authorities, and OpenAI, according to reporting, is cooperating with those authorities during an initial access period. What does that mean exactly? Nobody is entirely sure. Is this a national security review? Is it tied to the export control conversations happening in Washington around frontier AI models? Is it related to OpenAI's complicated evolving relationship with the US government, including its involvement in various federal AI initiatives? We do not have a clean answer yet, and that ambiguity is precisely what makes this feel significant. Think about what it means when a private AI company delays public access to its own product because a federal body asked it to. That is a level of government entanglement we have not seen spelled out this explicitly before. For context, OpenAI has been increasingly embedded in US government infrastructure conversations throughout 2026. The Stargate Initiative, discussions about AI and national defense, regulatory frameworks. GPT-5.6 landing in this environment, with a restricted rollout tied to federal cooperation, feels like a signal about where the relationship between frontier AI labs and the US government is actually heading. And here is the kicker for regular users. If you are on a standard ChatGPT subscription right now, you almost certainly do not have access. The model that OpenAI considers its current best is sitting behind a wall that most paying customers cannot see through. That is a weird place for the most prominent consumer AI product in the world to be. Meanwhile, China's Meituan, yes, the food delivery and super app giant, announced this week that it has trained a new AI model entirely on domestic chips. No Nvidia, no AMD, pure Chinese silicon. This is enormous. Washington's export controls were explicitly designed to slow China's AI development by cutting off access to advanced chips. Meituan just demonstrated in public that at least one Chinese tech company has crossed the threshold where domestic chip capability is sufficient to train a competitive AI model. The chips are not as fast. The training took longer, but the model exists, it works, and it was built without a single American component. That is the export control policy's worst-case scenario playing out in real time. Let's talk money, power, and the deals reshaping the AI industry's power structure this week, because there was a lot happening beneath the surface. First, Palantir. The data analytics and defense AI company confirmed two separate major partnership deals this week, and the timing matters. Palantir has spent years being asked the same question by investors. Can this company scale beyond government contracts into commercial enterprise at a pace that justifies its valuation? These two deals, confirmed on June 29th, are being read by analysts as a direct answer to that question. Palantir is not just a government surveillance and defense tool anymore. It is actively landing enterprise commercial contracts at a rate that suggests its AIP platform, the AI layer it built on top of its legacy Gotham and Foundry systems, is finding genuine product-market fit in the private sector. Watch this company closely. Its stock has been on a historic run, and the commercial deal flow is why. Next, and this one flew almost completely under the radar, an AI software development startup called 8090 raised $135 million in a new funding round, confirmed on June 30th. $135 million for a company most people in the AI space have never heard of. 8090 is building AI-native software development tooling. Think of it as the next generation beyond GitHub Copilot, aimed at automating not just code completion, but entire software engineering workflows. The funding round signals that enterprise investors believe the AI coding assistant market is far from saturated, and that there is room for a pure-play, purpose-built competitor to challenge the incumbents. $135 million, says the smart money agrees. Then there is Elon Musk, who this week won regulatory approval to acquire a communications startup. This is SpaceX's first significant acquisition since the company went public in early June, and it is being framed in the context of AI data center ambitions. Musk's infrastructure empire, xAI, Grok, the Memphis data center, Starlink, is expanding in ways that are becoming increasingly difficult to fully map. Winning approval for this acquisition adds another node to that network. Meanwhile, Google's Cloud UK Summit this week showcased agentic AI deployments across British local government. Every English council is now rolling out a Google-powered AI tool expected to generate significant cost savings. Government adoption at that scale is not just a product win for Google. It is a regulatory moat. When your AI is embedded in public infrastructure, displacement becomes politically complicated. That is a durable competitive advantage that does not show up on a benchmark leaderboard. And finally, Innovate UK launched a £10 million funding competition specifically targeting creative technology startups, explicitly including music. This matters because the creative industry AI debate in the UK has been brutal: artists versus tech, copyright battles, parliamentary hearings. The UK government choosing to fund createch startups rather than restrict them signals a policy direction that will ripple across Europe. This week's tool is one that directly connects to everything we have been covering, and it is free to start. It is called Pieces for Developers, and in one sentence, it is an AI-powered personal memory layer for software engineers that captures, organizes, and resurfaces every code snippet, command, and technical context you have ever worked with entirely on device, entirely private. Here is the concrete use case. You are a developer, and over the past 6 months you have solved the same obscure OAuth token refresh bug 3 separate times because you could never find where you documented the fix. Pieces sits in the background of your workflow, inside VS Code, inside your browser, inside your terminal, and it automatically captures that fix the moment you work through it. Next time you hit the same problem, Pieces surfaces it before you even finish typing the question. It cross-references your own personal history of solved problems with AI-generated context that explains why the solution works. No more Stack Overflow archaeology. No more digging through Slack history. Your entire development memory, organized and searchable, running locally so your proprietary code never leaves your machine. In a week where OpenAI unveiled the Jalapeño chip to make inference faster and cheaper, and where 8090 raised $135 million betting that AI will transform how software gets built, Pieces is the tool that is already living in that future right now, available for free on your machine today. The gap between what is coming and what you can access right now is smaller than most people think. If you thought this was wild, you need to see what OpenAI dropped last week. The video is on your screen right now.